guys, my name is Nairi and I'm running an adoption support type channel where I share everything about my adoption experience with my husband and the two boys that we fostered and then we adopted. Many of my videos relate to trauma related behaviours, parenting advice and that type of thing, but I'm going to start a new series about our first experiences with the boys, and I think that it would be good for you to hear some of the blessings and encouragements and positive things that we've been through with them, not just the things that actually are quite challenging, which we have to deal with on a daily basis. So I'm going to take you through what happened when we had our first birthday with our eldest son, who for the sake of the video I'm going to call James. It's not his real name. We've always had to protect the identity of our boys, which means we can't have them on camera, and any of the children we fostered have been the same. We've had to protect their identities. So James it is. And to explain a little bit, if you go back on some of my videos and watch our adoption story, you'll work out from there that we had the boys in as foster children, and then much later we adopted them, but we had them for quite a long time before we adopted them. The birthday that we had, so the boys came to us and they were very fragile, very neglected, and they were also unable to speak when we had them, and they were just coming up to 2 and 3. But when we had them in as a placement, we didn't realise that they were just coming up to 2 and 3. All we knew was we were taking on these two boys who were very, very tiny, and we actually thought they were a lot younger than they were. So they came in, and the first thing that we were told, well, not the first thing, but one of the early things we were told are, oh, we think that the boys have birthdays coming up pretty soon, and we think one of them might actually have a birthday coming up very soon. So it wasn't until 2 days before James's birthday that we were told he's got a birthday coming up. And to be honest, at the point we didn't even know how old he was going to be. So we were told, okay, in 2 days time. So panic ensued, as I'm sure you can imagine, as we thought, well, we don't know this little boy, he's not speaking, we don't know what he likes, we don't know what we're going to do with, what we're going to do for this birthday, who we're going to have to the birthday, because we don't have any friends for him. So we decided to do a family occasion, as we often did anyway with our fostered and even now our adopted boys, because sometimes it can be a little bit much when you've got friends around and the boys don't know how to interact with that situation. So many of our adult children were still living at home at the time, so we set to it to set up the room as best we could to make it into a party atmosphere. And so we created this lovely room and lovely atmosphere, and we were becoming more aware that the boys had lots of issues, but particularly the older one was very shy, painfully shy, and we weren't sure whether that was to do with the fact that they'd literally only just come, or whether that was him, really. We didn't know. So also we just kind of rushed out and got as many presents as we could. So each of my adult children bought a present, and we brought a few to make it look like there was more. And we then had everybody in and started the celebration. And really, to see James's face, really, it was just so obvious that everything we were doing was new to him. It just seemed that the balloons were something he hadn't experienced. He wasn't too sure. The thing to say is, I'm going to keep this video positive, okay? Because I think some of you need to hear the positivity. So it was wonderful because everything was new and everything was a first experience, but obviously it was also difficult to watch because everything was new and everything was the first experience. So the fact that he didn't seem to know what balloons were, and he did get into the dancing, actually. I can remember that he got into the dancing because some of my adult girls particularly are quite, I think rumbustious is probably the word. So they probably wouldn't let him get away with not dancing. So I can remember him getting into that. His brother seemed to be more outgoing. So obviously he was enjoying the process anyway. And then it came to opening the presents. And again, it looked like it was something completely new and different to him. So it was kind of beautiful and heartbreaking all at the same time, because we were kind of having to open the presents for him and say, this is what you do. You open a present, and then what's inside is what you have. And so it was lovely to be able to have that as his first experience. And I know you guys will be adopting, and the chances are they would have had birthdays with foster parents, but it could well be that a lot of things are still quite new to them. And the lovely thing about that is that we found in those early days, the boys appreciated everything we gave them. Like, everything was precious. So whereas children get a little bit spoilt as time goes on, and I think in our Western culture, we give them lots of things, and we wouldn't just dream of giving them one present for birthday unless it was really, more money. Or I think we spoil our children a lot, don't we? In our culture, everything we gave them was new and different, and they were so excited about everything. And reflecting on one of the birthdays a couple of years on from there, I remember my adult son gave James a card, and my adult son, hope you're not watching, adult son, he's not great at buying presents, but he made him a card, and it was pretty basic. And I can remember James actually having tears in his eyes and looking at my birth son and saying thank you to him like he'd just given him £1 million. That's how grateful these boys were for everything we gave them. So that was the lovely thing about it. And I think unless the children you have been in care for a long time and had already begun to get lots of things, you probably will find that for some of the children that you have that haven't had a lot, that you're going to get that lovely innocent kind of gratefulness when they receive things. It's just lovely to see. Obviously Christmas is another time that happens. So we showed him how to open the presents, and that was really lovely. And so we lit the candles, 3 candles, and in came the cake. So again, kind of beautiful and heartbreaking was the fact that actually he didn't know what the heck was going on when that cake came in. And he literally went like this. I've got a photo where he's like that with the candles coming in. He obviously didn't know what the candles were, and he was a bit frightened of them, I think. So again, we had to ease him into it and say it's okay, we sang happy birthday to him, and gradually he realized that the cake was a cake and that the candle needed to be blown out, and then we could obviously eat the cake. And that he definitely enjoyed eating the cake. They, anything like that they really enjoyed, because again, it was something new and different. So it was hard to believe that a 3-year-old had never seen a birthday cake and definitely didn't seem to know what candles were. So it was heartbreaking, but it was also beautiful to be able to share that with him. And we've got some photos of them when they were first with us, and it is heartbreaking because they look incredibly neglected. I mean, James had very little hair, and his teeth, you can see how neglected he is at the age of 3. You wouldn't be able to tell now by looking at him that all of that transpired. Actually, he's got a beautiful set of second teeth. So that was kind of where we got to with that birthday. And looking back on it, there's some things I would have done differently if I understood what their reaction was going to be to things and how new and different it was all going to be. I probably would have toned it down a bit. It's really hard to tone it down in my family when you've got 5 adult children there, some of them with partners or husbands, and it's always really loud in our house, which it's not necessarily a good thing when you've got children that are quite fragile, but my children do help to carry it for me, and the pressure's not always then on me and my husband, because as you've probably worked out, we're older, and when we were fostering and adopting, we were already in our 40s, so it's nice to have that young vibe as well. And the boys really attached very, very quickly to my adult children, which was also really lovely. So the things that I would have done differently, I'm going to try and keep it positive still, but the things I would have done differently is I probably would have perhaps toned it down, not had it quite as noisy. We had another foster child around who was quite demanding, so that probably made it more difficult. Might have maybe made an arrangement for her around that time. And the other thing that was really obvious in the photos when we look back is the little one. He was also coming up for a birthday, not that we knew that, I don't think at that time, was looking at what was happening with his brother opening all these presents, and the look in the pictures of pure jealousy from someone who wasn't even 2 was so obvious in the photos. And I think if we thought about it, we could have had a little present there for him just to take the edge off of it, because everything was so new and different for both of them that actually we should have maybe thought about the impact on the brother as well, although his birthday happened very soon after and he was already kind of ready for what was going to happen and very excited about it. So guys, this is a more positive video about those first experiences and how wonderful they are, and I'm sure that when you adopt or if you have adopted already, you will notice that some of those things are just so precious to you when you have them and when you look back on them, because you're beginning to build your history with your child. So you have their history, and that's really important. It's crucial that they have that history there and they have that awareness of their previous life, but you're building your memories. And we didn't know that we were building memories in the way with the boys, because we thought we were going to have to pass them on to an adopter. So now that we're their adopters, it's even more special that we can look back on those memories, and we've got those photos. Those photos were often taken to be passed on to an adopter, but of course we've got an amazing record of every single thing we did with them, because that was part of our job to do that, to pass on to adopters. So that is a more positive thing, guys, because on my channel you'll find lots and lots about how to therapeutically parent and the types of behaviours that we have had to deal with and do deal with on a daily basis. And I think maybe some people watching the videos think that, you know, our experience is all negative, which it isn't, but I'm trying to make the channel to be as supportive and real to you as I possibly can, because some of you, lots of it won't be relevant and some of it, loads of it will be. So guys, if you think that my channel is going to be interesting to you, then please take the time to subscribe